So this week, we've been exploring tone color in music, or timbre. The tone, or color, or timbre of a sound tells our ears what kind of instrument is making the music. It's how we tell a guitar from a piano, from a clarinet, from a trumpet, even if they're all playing the exact same pitch. But timbre does a lot more than that. It sets the mood and tells us if the music is happy or sad, playful or serious. And musicians do all kinds of things just to change the color of their tone. Brass players even put things in their instruments, usually things called mutes, to help them make just the right kind of tone because color is so important. You know just how much effort you put into choosing just the right color for a painting or a drawing of your own. It's the same for musicians, and it's the same in Hood Canal, where everything from the color of the water to the color of the leaves can tell us something about the environment. In fact, some animals like salmon even change their color to indicate what part of their life cycle they're in. Here to tell us more about the colors we can see in Hood Canal and what those colors mean is our friend Lucas Marin from the Hood Canal Salmon Center.
Hello everybody, Lucas here from the Salmon Center. I hope you're all doing well. Today we're talking about colors in the Hood Canal, a topic that forces us to zoom way in and look closely at our surroundings. Have you ever noticed the changes throughout the Hood Canal based on the time of year? We see changes in watercolor and leaf color, which we're going to talk about today. There are many things that affect this change in color, and they all depend on different variables. The first big variable is obviously the water. Water that collects in our streams and rivers flows into Hood Canal constantly, and with it brings the second variable, nitrogen. This substance is crucial for the canal and the phytoplankton who intake it to then be eaten by our shellfish and salmon. But in the summer months, when the flow of water into the canal slows down, much less nitrogen is brought into the system, and these other special plankton, called coccolithophores, say that again, coccolithophores, thrive in the nitrogen-poor environment and have a big impact on the color of Hood Canal water. But first, what are these coccolithophores? They're a one-celled plant-like organism that surrounds themselves with a microscopic plating made of calcium. These scales that are called coccoliths look like tiny shields or hubcaps on a car and make them very difficult to digest. Scientists are currently studying these creatures in the Hood Canal to understand how they're affecting oyster and geoduck populations. They think that these shells must be so hard that they're difficult for creatures to eat. So in the summer, when we get huge coccolithophore blooms because of the lack of nitrogen, because of the lack of water that's coming into the Hood Canal, the other species that rely on plankton start to struggle because all that's in the water is coccolithophores when they really want the other more tasty, less shield-covered plankton. But while I got a little carried away, how does this relate to color? Well, during these blooms, the canal turns a tropical teal and turquoise as a result of light reflecting off the coccolithophores and the coccoliths on those plankton. It's such a bright color too that it's even visible from space. I have proof. Look. When I look at these pictures though, I wonder why not in the rest of South Sound. Well, because the Hood Canal is a fjord. That means it's very long and skinny and doesn't connect to anything else as you get to the very end of it. It doesn't mix well with the rest of the ocean, so when the warm water builds up and doesn't leave, it creates the perfect habitat for things like coccolithophores in that warm summer water. But this time of year, in the fall, we have another source of color around the canal that is popping out. That would be our fall leaves, and particularly maple leaves. There are two types of native maples around the Hood Canal. The big leaf maples, aptly named for their giant leaves about the size of your head, and vine maples, smaller leaves and viney. While deciduous trees start to pull their energy out of their leaves, they expose the many other chemicals besides the summer's abundant green chlorophyll that fills their leaves. So this comes with a change in amount of light and a change in temperature. The trees can sense how much light they're getting and how the temperature is changing, and so they start to pull the chlorophyll out of their leaves. So when you see yellow, orange, and red, you're actually looking at the carotenoids, the chemical that carrots are named after, carotenoids and flavonoids that are there all year long. They're just overpowered by chlorophyll the rest of the year. So when the chlorophyll starts to get pulled out, you start to see the orange and the yellows and the browns and the reds. Next time you're outside, keep an eye out for these beautiful colors and take a moment to ponder the processes that created them. Maybe you can find some other colorful things and decide and decode their beginnings too. Have a good one. Enjoy the colors out there.